Hey YouTube fam, it's your girl Leah back again with another video. In today's video, as you can see from the title, we are doing a foundation collection, a foundation mini review, a foundation declutter. We are talking all foundations today. I was going through my drawer the other day trying to rummage through get a foundation, and I realized I have too many foundations. If you can see my drawers right now on your screen, I have about 80 foundations, different unique foundations in my foundation drawer, and I probably use about 10 of them, maybe max 10 of them. And I said to myself, I need to declutter, but I also want to knock out a couple of things in this video. Now, if you are familiar, an OG follower of my channel, you know that I used to do foundation reviews. And if you are OG follower of my channel, you realize I stopped doing foundation reviews probably about 2 years ago. I used to earnestly do them every Friday. It was known as Foundation Fridays on my channel, and I would talk about foundations, and I just stopped at a certain point, and I never gave an explanation why. Multiple reasons feed into why I stopped doing them. One, it was hard to do 3 videos a week. At that time, it was always Foundation Fridays, and I realized I cannot keep up with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. As I grew in my career outside of YouTube, it was hard to do 3 videos a week on top of having a full 9 to 5. So I cut it back to Monday, Wednesdays. And then two, on the flip side, my channel was all over the place. I had crochet hair reviews. I was doing foundation, fashion, lifestyle. I was doing too much. So the algorithm didn't know where to place me. It didn't know whether I was doing hair or crochet content. My audience wasn't always necessarily interested in both. My foundation followers weren't necessarily interested in my hair. So that was hurting my hair content, and my hair followers weren't interested in my foundation, so it was hurting my foundation content. The third reason really and truly was the fact that it was overconsumption of foundations. I was just having too many to effectively try. Who needs 80 foundations when there's only 52 weeks in a year? I'm having more foundations than there are weeks in the year, and I realized these brands are just recycling themes. Again, for my wallet, I decided to stop buying and really focus and hone in on the foundations that I love. So in today's video, we are decluttering. We are throwing away. I want to walk away with 30 foundations max at the end of this, and that's still a lot. So these are going to be mini short reviews. Like, I am not going into full details. I have a full video probably for most of these videos. I'll link down below what I can, because the description box will not allow you to put so many characters in there. And if I do all my shades and all of these and all the links to all the videos, it won't allow me to do that. So I'll be as complete as I can. I will max out that description box with either the reviews or the foundation shades, whatever I can put in there. I will use every character I can, because there's a lot. So I'm going to probably talk at 10 seconds max about each of these. So it's going to be rapid fire. I already pre-filmed the swatches, so you'll see the swatch. Keep in mind though, so every time I do a swatch video, I get the comment, that don't match you though. That's not your shade, or that shade matches you perfectly. Please realize that I have summer and spring and fall and winter. My skin changes just like probably yours does. You probably get a little tanner depending on where you live. I live in the South. You're going to get a little tanner. So there are times where I've bought foundations because I need them to match me in the summer. It does not make sense to have a winter shade and then have nothing to wear in the summer, or be trying to wear my winter shades in the summer and it be too light bright. So if I keep a foundation that you're like, it doesn't match you, trust me, May, June, July, August, oh, that thing gonna match me good. Might be even too light for me in those months. And another thing, why am I throwing away some of these foundations? Some of these, and I'll hit on it in this video, are old as 6 or 5 years ago. I'm not putting that on my face. I care about my skin now, that I didn't before, but I probably haven't been treating it the best, especially when it comes on putting foundations that are 6 years old on my face. We're not doing that no more. But without further ado, I probably need a bottle of water beside me, because we are going to go rapid fire with these foundations. But I need to start with the foundation I'm wearing currently, and that is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydra Glow Foundation. Now, if you watch my Sephora VIB sale, this is a newer purchase for me. I've had this for about 2 weeks now at this point, and I actually enjoyed it. The very first time I put it on, I enjoyed it, and I'm like, okay, Makeup Forever, you done did something. Now I am in the shade 3Y50 in this foundation. It's a little different than the normal. They do still have the normal. This again is the Hydra Glow. This is going to be a keeper for me. I just bought it, so it's a keeper, and I think it might be a strong performer. But its sister is one of my top foundations. I'll go in this video and tell you guys what are my top 10 foundations. This is one of my top 10s. It's too soon to put the Hydra Glow on there, but it's not too soon to put the normal HD Skin on there. The difference is this bottle, of course, has a kind of pink brownish lid. I am in the shade 3Y56. I don't know why I'm in a different shade in this, but it matches me as well. This is an incredible product for your skin to, again, look good on HD. HD being high definition, cameras, photography. I use this a lot when I'm filming. Even though I put the new on today, this bad boy is a friend of mine. It's an amazing foundation. So if you're looking for something for a big day, for photography, I see this in a lot of people's kits. This is going to be a keeper for me. While we're on the Makeup Forever bandwagon, I might as well talk about what I'm throwing away. I don't even know why I kept this bottle. I think just for nostalgia's sake. It's the same thing as the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, but this is the old way it came. If you're familiar, OG Makeup Forever girl, you know they discontinued making this maybe, or the bottle of this, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But I used to, again, kill Makeup Forever HD. So you know that's a tried and true for me. So getting rid of this just because of oldness. And then while we're also, I think this is the last Makeup Forever, I did go down the rabbit hole of getting the HD sticks. I don't know if they still make these. They look to be pretty unused on my end. I think I just didn't get the right shades in these. I got 173, which is Y445, and I got 123, which is Y415. Yeah, they just didn't match my skin tone. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe one matches a little bit better, but again, I am not a big fan of stick foundations. These are the only stick foundations that you'll find in this collection. Well, used to find, because these are going to be in the garbage because I bought these probably 5 years ago. So again, don't know if they still make it, but it is declutter time. Also getting rid of the LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation. I got it in the shade tan. It's just old. It's just an older foundation. I don't remember truly how I felt about it. I'm sure I have a review on this. If so, it's linked down below. But it is a truly, truly old foundation, probably at least 7 years old at this point. Has to go away because oldness. Oh, this is going to be an effective declutter because I'm getting rid of 3 Wet n Wild foundations. You see how it says new at the top of these? That's how you know these are old. Because they ain't nowhere near new at this point. I don't even know if Wet n Wild is still making foundations because they needed to stop. I did a review on this, and the smell of this, I think the performance of it was okay, but the smell on this, when I opened this bad boy up, it reminded me of the paint. You watch that review, smells like paint. I get it. It's affordable. I think this was probably under $7. Was really proud of Wet n Wild for stepping out and making some foundations. I did have 3 shades: 375C Toffee, 373C Amber Beige, and then 372C Desert Beige. All of these are going in the garbage. Something else that's going in the garbage, man, I should have, the next thing needs to be enough, something that's not going in the garbage. Not because it's bad. I do truly love Maybelline Fit Me. This is a top probably 15 foundation for me. The reason this is going in the garbage is one of you guys actually reached out to me and asked me about purchasing it. Where did I get it from? Because they couldn't find it online. And I was like, I bought it from Amazon. Let me go back and look at my purchase order of this. I bought it from Amazon probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So I was like, oh, okay. They don't make it anymore. I'm sorry, you can't get the pouches. And I probably shouldn't still be using the pouches actively in my videos because when I bought these, they were pretty old. But I have the shade 335 Classic Tan, 340 Cappuccino, and 338 Spicy Brown. Spicy Brown, Cappuccino, I think Classic Tan, more winter, more cooler side for me. I think 340 might be current shade. I'm doing the swatches. I'm doing the swatches on the screen right now, and I think Spicy Brown is just a little bit more of a red undertone. These are all good though. Maybelline, I mean, in terms of the brand, Maybelline Fit Me is all good. These have to go away though. Let's go to something I'm 100% keeping though. I said I was going to switch to a keeper for sure, and let me clean this bad boy up because it deserves to be shown in pristine condition. It is that NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I also reach for this one, foaming a lot. It's either Makeup Forever HD or it's Light Reflecting. It's either one of these. I am in the shade Huahine, and I do have a couple of other NARS in this video that you're going to see, where I have a Tahoe, a Cadiz. Huahine is a newer shade. This is a newer shade. I'd say newer in the sense that it's been around for about 3 years. It used to go from Tahoe and Cadiz, and those were the two. Now there's two shades in between Tahoe and Cadiz. Cadiz was a little bit too darker for me on some occasions, although I swatched some in this, and Cadiz was matching me well. I think Tahoe, I'm past being a Tahoe girl. I am definitely a Huahine, and I match really well in that, in this foundation and some others. But NARS Light Reflecting, 100% a keep, and also in my top 10 for sure. If you don't have this in your collection, you missing out. Another NARS foundation, the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. I did like this for a while. I won't be repurchasing just because I have the NARS Light Reflecting, and I think they do similar jobs. I think the Longwear aspect of it doesn't do anything that the NARS Light Reflecting. I know NARS Light Reflecting doesn't have the Longwear title in it, but it is a very long wearing foundation. It was good. I think this was my fave for a long time, but Night Reflecting kind of beat it out, and there's no reason for me to buy both. Another NARS, this is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and again, in the shade Huahine. This is a good foundation. I just think when I swatch it, you're going to be like, oh, it looks a little too light. For some reason, this one does swatch a little lighter, but I don't know if it's because of the coverage of this foundation. I do need to spend a little bit more time with it to kind of really get to know it a bit better, so I am keeping it. I don't think it's a bad foundation. Again, I just reach for NARS Reflecting, that I sometimes don't reach for this as much. That Light Reflecting is more natural. This, as the title suggests, is more matte. I tend to go for a more natural finish. I'm looking for more dewy foundations too, because I think I might be in my dewy era, but I'm rarely in my complete matte era, unless it's for pictures, and I'm not going to really see people in real life, because matte on me in real life can just look a little different. It portrays really well on camera. A dewy does not look really well on camera for me, but in person it looks really well. So I think I do need to play around with this more, so it's definitely a keep for me. Another keep for me has to be the Haus Labs foundation. Lady Gaga did something with this one. This is a lot of people's number one, and it's for good reason. Natural finish, long lasting, amazing shade match for me. I'm in the shade 370 medium neutral. I mean, what can I say? This foundation is a repeat buy for me. Amazing. Top 10 for sure. Let's go to Charlotte Tilbury. We're going to go to two different Charlotte Tilburys that I own. The Airbrush Flawless Foundation Stays All Day Foundation. I'm in the shade 10 neutral, or I thought I was. This looks a little bit too off for my liking. It is a full coverage foundation, and that's one of the reasons I bought it, is because I don't have a lot of full coverage foundations. I don't really like a lot of full coverage foundations. There's not a lot of times in my life where I need a full coverage foundation. I just tend to go medium to light. I mean, I don't have a lot of hyperpigmentation, dark spots, anything that I'm trying to cover up, and I feel like I can feel full coverage foundations on me, and I don't want to feel my foundation. I want it to be light, natural, like the foundation I have on right now. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know whether it has nothing to do fully with the fact that I don't even think it matches me fully. With full coverage, you need it to match you 100%, 100% of the time. If you get a shade darker, a shade lighter, you're off the base. You can get away with a little bit of shade lighter, shade darker with a skin tint, with a moisturizer, tinted moisturizer. Honey, you can't with this. So it's a lot of money to spend on something where I cannot play around with. I would not repurchase this, and I know a lot of people love it, so I might keep it just to play around, because it's not that old of a foundation, but it is definitely not a favorite of mine. But a foundation I really do like, and I do need to pick up a bit more, is her Beautiful Skin foundation. more up my alley, not full coverage at all. It's for your best healthy looking skin every day is the tagline on this. I don't see as many people talking about this as I do her Airbrush, but this is a cute foundation. I am in the shade 12 neutral on this, which is probably the better shade match for me, honestly. If her other foundation comes in a 12, that is probably what I need to be reaching for, but I need to play around with this more. Again, it has the pump when you open it. Beautiful skin is what it I think gives me when I'm wearing it. It's definitely on the lighter to medium coverage. So definitely for not for somebody who wants that full coverage. That Charlotte Tilbury, airbrush is probably better for the full coverage. So yes, definitely a keep for me, and definitely I need to use more because again, if you're looking for natural, I think it's going to give you natural. Something else I'm keeping to play around with a little bit more is the L'Oreal Skin Paradise. When I swatched it, I was like, oh, why don't I reach for this more? And I was like, is it because it's discontinued? It's so old, it's discontinued. I still found it on the L'Oreal site. It is a tinted moisturizer. So again, not going to give you that full coverage, but if you're looking for something that is going to be, what is it? I got aloe vera and it has witch hazel and it has SPF in it. 19. I think if you're looking for something summer, because I don't think anything I've shared so far that I've kept has an SPF in it. I do tend to like more tinted moisturizers, more SPF, a little bit less of a structured foundation in the summer. I think this is going to give you that clean, just soft feeling that you can wear without applying. Well, you should always apply sunscreen, but for that added oomph of sunscreen. And then another, oh, this has sentimental value for me, but I don't think I'll ever repurchase it again. It's that Lancome Tint Idol. It has that SPF in it too. It's comfortable. It's such a good foundation. Why am I not repurchasing this again? Why am I not? I'm trying to think of the reason. I think because I don't need any more. If I do the Haus Lab, I keep the Nars, I keep the Makeup Forever. There is no reason to keep this, unfortunately. I think the Nars specifically, and I think Haus Labs both do what this is trying to do. I am in the shade 450 Suede. Mm, it's hard to say I would not repurchase this, but I have it already. I think if you want to have this, you don't need the Nars, you don't need the Haus Lab. But if you already own both the Nars and the Haus Labs, I think you don't need this. Let's get some more Nars out of the way. I thought I had finished my Nars, and then I looked down. I was like, okay, I have a few more Narses that I need to give up. I have another light reflecting that I'm just going to go ahead and toss because I thought I got rid of all the light reflecting. And I realized I have a whole nother bottle. I used to love light reflecting. The Sheer Glow, our OG original fave. It is in the shade Tahoe that I have this foundation. Was a good baby. Was a good starter baby for me. Definitely gave what it needed to give at the time. I just think Nars, I'm in my Nars light reflecting era. So unfortunately I will be getting rid of this because I know it's old too. And then another get rid of, but I thought the match looked really good when I swatched it, is the Nars All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. Now, the difference between this and NARS Light Reflecting, whereas I think the Natural Radiant is very similar, I think this was a little bit more watered down. I think it did go on, and if you can see, I don't know if it still has it, where you could just kind of shift it, not swatch it, like kind of just sift it a bit and could just tell it has a little bit of a different consistency than the Natural Radiant and NARS Light Reflecting. So if you want something a little bit more lightweight, I definitely earnestly implore you to try this. NARS doesn't need to have all these foundations when honestly, again, that's an example of too many varieties when they mostly do a lot of the same thing. There's nothing that glow. The Sheer Glow doesn't give me a glow that the Natural Radiant. What's the difference between having a natural radiance and just a sheer glow? I think again, what's the difference between a weightless foundation than a sheer foundation? Again, need only one NARS at this point, and I'm keeping two. So the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, a top foundation for me. I'm in the shade 8.75. Beautiful shade match. Very much so goes on natural. Looks good. Lasts all day. Definitely something where I don't feel like I'm getting oily. I don't get oily in any of my foundations, honestly. So I'm not the person to go to for, is this going to make me get oily? I have normal to dry skin. Gonna go hard for Luminous Silk every single time. You ever thought you was done with something and then you really wasn't? Wasn't at all done with it. NARS, why do you keep showing up in my collection? NARS, the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I did love you. I need to put a Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, but it's only for certain occasions. I like to use this if it is a swimming situation. This, I think, holds up beautifully. It did used to have a smell. I don't smell it actively, so I don't think it still has a smell. If it had a smell, I think I would smell it. If I had a smell, I think I would be able to smell it. So I don't smell anything in this foundation, but it does have a sunscreen level of 30. So if you're looking for something that gives you a high level, I am in the shade Santiago. Their shade names are different than their like Tahoe, Cadiz, and their normal range. They do have less shades in this because, again, like I said, tinted moisturizers can typically blend. You can be one shade darker, one shade lighter than me, and I think we could all wear the same shade in this. So keeping this top foundation for me though, but for only a finite period of time. I wouldn't wear this every day at all. I would wear this for a hot beach vacation, like just a day where I'm near the sun and I'm outside, a lake day, something where water is going to be present, but not every single day. Next foundation we have is the Dior Face and Body. I don't know why I don't reach for this as often as I need to be reaching for it, honestly, but I realize this is more of a summer. It's so sheer. It's even sheerer than a tinted moisturizer. So tinted moisturizer feels like the consistency of a moisturizer. This feels even liquidier than that, if that's possible. I think the concentration of water or whatever additive they have is higher than a tinted moisturizer. I love this foundation though. I can't wait to bust this out more as we get warmer because I think that's the perfect season. I am the shade 4.5 in this foundation. I did buy a lighter shade in it, but because I wear it in the summer, the 4.5 in patches me beautifully in the summer. I don't wear it as much in the winter, so I don't know if this shade would even be worth it. I think I just bought it to dilute some of my other foundations, honestly. But while we're talking about Face and Body, we got to talk about the OG because I have a whole video on this. And I think I made that video 8 years ago at this point, 7 or 8 years ago at this point, because this was my favorite foundation back in the day. I swatched it the other day for the swatch shots of this video, and who I fell back in love with this bad boy. I think the Dior took over what this did for me, but MAC really was that girl back in the day. And this was that foundation. At the time, it was like $30 and you got this whole big tube. I mean, 4 fluid ounces is a lot. You usually get like 1 fluid ounce, like this version of it, but they made a 4 fluid ounce. It is also because it's a foundation that is a lot more liquidy. You can hear that. You get into that water. The water of this is high. This is an old foundation though, so I do need to get rid of it from the oldness consistency of it. But C6, my shade in this, me and this girl, we were in love. MAC used to be that girl, so we're going to talk about MAC. I have the Pro Longwear foundation in the shade NC44. It did not swatch well on me because I think I'm an NC45 girl. I think there was a time where I thought I was an NC44 girl and NC44 was matching me really well. And then I was swatching the other day and NC45 was matching me beautifully. So I'm not going to keep the Pro Longwear, also because it is old. If it's MAC, it's old. The Studio Fix Fluid does have SPF 15. This and the Sheer Glow were like the OG foundations of life. MAC in general was the OG foundation. Now I was in the shade NC45 and this swatched beautifully, but it's also an old foundation, so I will have to be, tossing that. But MAC used to be, again, a good solid performer. Just so you know, I'm throwing away all my MAC foundations because they are, I don't need to know, they're old. I did even went on the site, and two of the next two don't even exist anymore. So definitely getting rid of the Next to Nothing by MAC. MAC's Next to Nothing. And I think in my review, I was like, why did they make this? I can vividly remember my review, even though it has been 7 years since my review on this. I know what I said because I was a hardcore Face and Body girl. I was like, why did y'all come out with this? Like what were y'all doing, MAC? Y'all could have kept this. Shade Dark, again, they just had a couple of shades in this because it was so lightweight. And like I said, lightweight means there's going to be 5 or 6 shades. They don't seem to still make this, and I'm glad they caught the memo on that. The MAC Pro Longwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation, though, that was good. I didn't see this on their site either. I don't know why. I thought this was good. I'm in the shade NC45. I think the Pro Longwear was my favorite line from them. I liked the Pro Longwear concealer back in the day. I liked the Pro Longwear foundation more than I did their Studio Fix Fluid. And I like this. I think the NARS Tinted does what this could do, so I'm not mad that they're not making this anymore. But if I was to repurchase two from MAC, it would definitely be MAC Face and Body, and then the Pro Nourishing Waterproof. Again, perfect for those same situations. I would wear the NARS Tinted, beach, any kind of outdoor activity. This would stand up. But let's go rapid fire through some. I'm not keeping the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I think Becca no longer exists. It was a full coverage foundation, which again, I didn't have many. I used to have this, the Urban Decay All Nighter, which I don't own anymore, and then that Charlotte Tilbury. It was in the shade Amber. Not bad, but I mean, again, I think I'm out of my full coverage. I will probably never buy a full coverage. If I'm getting full coverage makeup done, I'm probably going for a big event, and I'm probably gonna have my makeup professionally done, like it's a wedding or I'm a bridesmaid or something. Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1. Such an old foundation. Like, I don't know if Milani even still makes this. If they do, great. I don't remember how I felt about it. I'm in the shade 09, but it is so old, has to be gone. The Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer. Laura Mercier actually sent me this, so I don't feel that bad about getting rid of it. I do have another one of these. Maybe I should talk about it right after this, but this just is in a shade match for me, 6-in-1 Mocha. Thank you for the PR, but I do actually like your tinted moisturizer. It's just not in the color that doesn't match me. So trash. This is the foundation I do own, though, in the right shade. In my right shade for Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer is in the shade 5W1 Tan. Very good tinted moisturizer, I think. They do have two versions. This just looks different. This is the oil-free version, and this is the natural skin protector. This has an SPF of 30. This has an SPF of 20. I think they're both really good. The reason I'm getting rid of these, though, is because they're old. I had to think about when I bought Laura Mercier recently, and I haven't. So if Laura Mercier wants to resend me any PR, you can do it. But just send me 5W1. 5W1 is my shade. I think this is good, though. Definitely would consider repurchasing it because I'm not keeping that many. But I think the L'Oreal Skin Paradise does what this does, and it's much cheaper. I'm doing well. I'm doing well with the declutter. I thought I was going to keep it more, and the keep pal is not looking bad as the throwaway pal. The two things I'm going to keep and just use more in this year, because again, I don't have to go through as many foundations to find these. I think these get lost in the sauce, but it's the Born This Way foundation by Too Faced. I think I like this. I think I do. I got the shade Brulee, and then I got the shade Praline. Now, Brulee used to be my shade, or I think it still is my shade. When I swatched Praline, I was like, wow, this is light. What made me buy this? But I got my makeup done for my friend's wedding, and the makeup artist used this, and I was like, oh, okay, I already own Born This Way. If this is what the stylists are using, I'm already on trend. But she used, I believe, the shade Praline, and I was like, oh, okay, do I have the wrong shade at home? She was doing my makeup, and she was like, do you normally match your foundation with your face or with your neck? And I was like, my face. And she was like, okay, well, I'm matching your foundation with your neck for this, because in my friend's wedding, you see the dress, my body was more praline. My face was probably more brulee. Again, when you guys see me swatch things, you're like, well, it doesn't match your face. It doesn't match your face. There are times where you want to match your neck. Like, there's times where you are wearing I'm very covered today. You can't see my neck, all of that. So wearing a foundation shade that matches my face would be great. But if, say, I'm wearing something where, again, my arms, my legs, everything is exposed, my neck is very much so out and present, in my face, I'm matching my foundation with my face, but my neck is a different. I'm not going to bring my foundation all over my body. It's just easier to match my neck with my face in those scenarios. So I'm still going to keep Praline, but I do think it's a little bit lighter. But again, there are moments where I need to match my neck. Of course, we got to talk about Fenty. Of course, Miss Fenty girl. I have the Pro Filter foundation. I was in the shade 370. I have the Pro Filter Natural Longwear foundation shade 370. And I have the Fenty Eavesdrops. I bought it in two shades, 17 and 15. 17 is closer to my shade. I don't even know what I was doing with 15. Sometimes I get some things a little lighter because I want to mix and match things. Eavesdrops are my fave. They have a little bit more thickness than a face and body, but still not a tinted moisturizer, if that makes sense. I know it's still very much so on the lighter coverage, and I love a light coverage, so I'm keeping those. Between Pro Filter, regular and Pro Filter, hydrating longwear, I do prefer the hydrating longwear. I just think it's my thing. It's hydrating, it just feels better on my skin. This just didn't feel great on my skin, unfortunately. So gonna toss the old Pro Filter. I think this is old anyways. Like I think this was the first thing she released, and we all went for it, and we were all impressed by her shade range, and we still are. I just don't think that's my favorite of the Pro Filters. Summer Fridays, if you just watch my Sephora BIB sale haul, just got this. Need to take it back. I don't know why I'm dragging my feet taking it back. I just got the wrong shade. I got the shade 4.5. I should have got a shade 5. It's just too light, as you can see from the swatch of this. So yeah, I think it'd be good though. It's a skin tint. I just don't have an opinion on it because I haven't worn it. Just recently got. Keeper for me was the Givenchy Prism Libre foundation. I have it in the shade. What shade is this? 5 W370. Does that 5 mean something? Maybe it means something. A lot of numbers, a lot of letters going on there. I like this foundation. It's really good. I do think it's comparable to my, not Giorgio Armani. It's comparable to something in my collection that I'm looking for. It's just not some. I'm gonna use this bad boy up. I just don't. It spoke to me when I was in the store. I don't think it speaks to me as much home now because I think I have foundations that do the job it needs to do. Same thing goes for the Makeup by Mario. I did enjoy this. I do think it can be a little light on me at times. The 17N shade. I do think it has a little bit of glisten to it. It has a little bit of, I don't know if it's flakes in here or what, but it does have a little bit of a glow, I would say, to it. But it's not old to me, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it up, and that might change. Again, this video too is going to give me more time to play around with foundations that I don't have a lot of time to play around with. The Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is the sheer long wearing makeup, has that SPF in it. Good, like this, right up my alley. Does it do the same thing as the face and body? Does it do the same thing really as the Fenty Eavesdrops? Absolutely. But I'm going to keep this. And if I had to pick out of those three, you're probably like, which one will you repurchase? This isn't bad. It might just be the cheaper of the options. Honestly, if Fenty is the cheapest, it might be the Eavesdrops. If it's Dior, then it might be them. I'm in the shade 5W1 bronze in this, by the way. I know this probably ain't the cheaper one. What am I thinking? Estee Lauder ain't gonna be the cheaper one of the group, but I don't think you need all three. I'm keeping all three because I bought all three. The True Blend by CoverGirl. I don't remember if I swatched this because I can't remember what this looked like on me. This is a swatch of it. It swatches beautifully. I just don't think CoverGirl makes this anymore, and I know that this is old. I know this is old. Matte Made. It's a color shade T60. It says new on here, girl. We are far from new on this. We're gonna get rid of the CoverGirl. I think that was the only CoverGirl. Oh no, I do have another CoverGirl that I loved. And then I heard they discontinued it. I love the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. I was in the shade Golden Tan. I really like this. This is my first one before the brands were really adding the hyaluronic acid, the vitamin E, all of that to them. They didn't have that, and I thought this was really good. It was lightweight. It gave me some coverage, oil free. I like this from CoverGirl. Like, I was like, okay, CoverGirl getting back into their bag, but I think I remember reading somewhere they discontinued it, and I was so bummed. I'm in the shade again, Golden Tan. It has an expiration date on it. They say 2019. All right. All right. Next, a foundation that is old, tried, and true, but I loved it. The Revlon Color Stay. Especially, I know I'm dry and normal. I did not like the dry version of the Color Stay, but I loved the combination oily version. I was in the shade 375 Toffee. It's old, so it has to go because it's old, but it was so good. would definitely consider repurchasing it for sure, because it's not going to break the bank. I think if you're on a budget and you're looking for a foundation, Maybelline Fit Me, Revlon Color Stay, you can't go wrong. And the third one that I'll talk about, I'll make an effort to talk about it after this one, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place foundation. I do have this in a different shade. I think this one might be a little too light for me. I do have it in the shade 5W1 Bronze, just like I do the sheer foundation. I bought it a little bit lighter in the shade 4W4 Hazel. Not sure why I always get a lighter version. Sometimes I'm feeling like something's a little too dark on me and I get something lighter. But I think right now 5W1 Bronze is my shade. Gonna keep. This doesn't budge. Like, it does not move. Double wear stay in place. That's why I got the double wear shears, because this bad boy, it holds, it stays in place. Keeping, but maybe not repurchasing. When we talk about foundation that I love, again, I said Maybelline Fit Me, I said Revlon, Color Stay, L'Oreal True Match. They used to have the bottle like this. I was in the shade, and I still am in the shade, in 7. I'm keeping this. This is the drugstore. I'm gonna get rid of this because I know this N7 is old. So sorry, that N7. This N7 is newer because they do have the pump now. True Match it's blendable. It's timeless. It's been around for a long time for a reason. So if you're in the store, you're trying to debate, I don't think you can go wrong with Maybelline Fit Me, Revlon Color Stay, or the True Match. I honestly, and this is going to be a repurchase for me, love the True Match Nude with the hyaluronic acid, the tinted serum. I know this isn't going to be people's cup of tea, because for me, it's not going to be the longest lasting. I do not think this is a foundation that you're going to put on at 8 a.m. and then expect to look good at 8 p.m. Nope, no ma'am. It ain't long wear. It's a true match, but is it long wearing? No. I'm in the shade 7-8. Again, it's a serum lighter coverage, so it's in between. I'm not the true 7 like I am, and you don't have a true 7. I love both of these, and I'm keeping both of these. That true serum, though, that I'm glad I looked online to see if they had discontinued this, because I can see this being something they discontinue. It was so new, like the Vitalist by CoverGirl. They came out with a vitamin. I thought they would get rid of it. They haven't gotten rid of it. So happy about that. Keeping that. In that same family, I don't know if I watched this in my video, the True Match Lumi. I might love the True Match just in general above all else. This is it? Let's watch it. This is the True Match Lumi in the color 7-8. Definitely probably matches me a lot better in the summer months. I'm keeping these because they are so good. I was about to start lying until I realized L'Oreal is that girl. Okay, L'Oreal is Queen Bee in this video. I have all of these, and they still make these foundations. These are the Infallible foundations. These were the Radiant 24-hour medium coverage, kind of air light version of it. I have it in 3 different shades, 211, 210, 209. I'm getting rid of these because they're old. I remember when I did the review for this, and I remember where I was. And if I was living there, these is no younger than 6 years old. These is the youngest these can be. These are probably celebrating their 7th birthday. They also had the matte version. These were the Pro Matte. They had the Pro Glow, the Pro Matte. This was a kind of demi-matte formula, also air light, and then the coverage was medium on this. Shade 109 in my hand. Gotta go, but L'Oreal is that girl. It's hands down. You're in the aisle, you're trying to look. Stop no further than that. Elf, I'm getting rid of it. It's just old. I was in the shade Maple. Old foundation. We back on L'Oreal. I'm not done with L'Oreal. We thought we were. And then I found the Infallible 14-hour fresh wear foundation out of the shade 510. This says expired 11/20 on the back of it. Is going in the trash can. It says expired. I don't know if you can see that on the back. It says it expired 11/20 right there. We are in April of 2024. Yeah, we getting rid of this. Let's stay in the drugstore. Let's go with NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I have the shades here, Warm Caramel, and then this shade. It's also warm. Oh, the lid is on the wrong one. This is Warm Caramel right here. This is Nutmeg here. I think these were good. They're full coverage foundations. You can get full coverage from the drugstore. Most of the full coverages, or most of the drugstores, have not been full coverage that I mentioned. Don't know if they still make it. Don't remember hating this, but do remember that I bought it a long time ago. We are unfortunately getting rid of a lot just due to the age of some of these. Let's spin the block back to Maybelline. Hit out 3 heavy hitters right now. We have the Maybelline Fit Me, but this was the dewy and smooth version. I have the shade 330 Toffee here. I like the dewy and smooth. I like the Maybelline Fit Me combination oily a bit more, but I didn't mind this, and I think it matched my skin well. I think it's just old. The Maybelline BB cream, I don't remember when I got this, but I want to keep it because I do think it's me. It's again a BB cream. There's only probably 6 shades of this, that means, but this shade does seem to match me well. They also have the tinted moisturizer. I'm also in the shade 330, and that I'm going to keep both of these. Now, if I realize that I bought these so long ago, I probably should get rid of these because I can't remember when I bought them. But they are more my speed. We'll keep them, we'll evaluate. We'll evaluate the age. Another Maybelline, we have the Dream Radiant Liquid Hydrating Foundation. It does have the hyaluronic acid, and it's in the shade 120 Caramel. I remember liking this. Again, it's got those things I look for now with the vitamins. I love things with vitamins and serums and all of that. I'm glad that skincare is being incorporated into makeup these days. It's just that this foundation, they have a date on the back of these when you should get rid of it, and that says 12 months, and it's far past 12 months. Something I'm 100% keeping, we have the Sephora Best Skin Ever. Again, very much so up my alley in terms of being a lightweight coverage. It's a coverage buildable, so it's not going to be your full coverage foundation, but it's going to be something you can put on, kind of build up. I'm in the shade 35N. Rare Beauty. I do have 2 Rare Beauty foundations. Don't like one. I do not like the foundation. I think that's just, it's called Rare Beauty Foundation. It says the shade 370N. I'm 370 in a lot of foundations. This is just too oily for me. I mean, this applicator is interesting, but like, shake it up well before you use it, honey. What I did kind of like was the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer, 20 SPF in it. It's no surprise that I like the tinted moisturizer version of this a bit more. Ooh, I'm seeing that expiration date though. I was gonna keep this, but we're only 4 months past the expiration on this. This is a shade 40N. I might keep this. What's the expiration on this? I don't know how I feel about the Kosés. I don't think it was worth the hype though. Definitely wasn't worth the hype. I have the shade 300 medium deep warm. No. I'm gonna keep it to use it up because I did not buy that long ago, but I bought it because, oh, everybody was loving Kosés. Everybody's loving Kosés. Keep Kosés. Keep it. One of my OG faves, the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation. This was just a wonderful foundation. I was in the shade Golden 6. I think the Luminous Silks beat this out. And then when Bobbi Brown left Bobbi Brown, I just started not loving the brand anymore. It was just like, how y'all gonna ease out? When I heard about how they got rid of Bobbi, I was like, girl, sorry, Bobbi Brown, but Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk does the exact same thing in my opinion. So no hard feelings on that one. The Smashbox Studio Skin 15-hour wear. I do remember liking this. I just don't have a lot of Smashbox products, but I do remember when I bought this, I was like, oh, I've been sleeping on Smashbox. I just again think that the Sephora Best Skin Ever kind of does what this does. It's old too, so I'm gonna get rid of that. The YSL Bare Look tint. You know I was gonna go for a tint. You know I was gonna add a skin tint into my collection. I just don't have the right. This isn't the right shade for me. I do love it, but I just don't think it's the right shade for me. But I mean, it's YSL. I gotta keep it. This Juvia's Place foundation, I'm in the shade Punta Cana 435 full coverage foundation. It is a thicker, much thicker foundation. It is very full coverage. It's just at this point, it says I could have kept it for 24 months, but I know we're at month 56 at this point. So I won't be keeping this, but it was a foundation also. Again, it's probably because it's full coverage that I could feel. And you know I don't like a foundation where I can feel it. Next, we have the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. It has niacinamide in it. It's another foundation that I just need to play around with. I think I could like it, but it's just like the Velvet Skin. Because I had so much in my collection before that I've now whittled down, it just got lost and buried in my foundations that I didn't reach for this as much as I should. So now that we've gotten rid of 100 almost dead disgusting old foundations, I can now see it clearly. The Smashbox BB cream, I like this. This is really good. It's just also old, but I am in the shade medium. Good, but old. We have the Laura Mercier Flawless Radiance Perfection Foundation. I'm in the shade 5W1 Amber. Why am I in Estee Lauder 5W1? Why am I either a 370, a 17, or a 5W1? NC45. If you need my shade, all my shade match twins. In my Sephora video, somebody was like, I watch you because you're my shade match. You notice we are classic tans. We are 5W1s. I don't know what these things mean, but that's what we are. This foundation, again, I don't remember even what the swatch looked like on this. Very thick. This a full coverage. It's a thicker. Feels like it's on my skin. Could do more with the age of it. I just don't think. Again, I think Laura Mercier might have sent me this because I don't know why I would have bought this foundation blindly. Because I don't hear a lot about it. I'm gonna get rid of this because it's too thick for me. It's just not my cup of tea. So that has been my entire foundation collection. We went through it. It probably was about a 45-minute video. I've been sitting here talking for almost an hour, 30 minutes, but I'll chop and screw this as best as I can to get it under. When you are going through so many foundations, it's hard not to get through it a lot. And I hope you guys don't judge me too hard. Why do you have so many foundations? Again, I used to create foundation review content and I used to buy a lot of foundations. And even though I don't anymore, I feel confident in the things I'm keeping and why I'm keeping it. I'm sure even a year or two from now, it'll be whittled down even smaller because some of the things I'm keeping just because they are not used. I think when I whittle it down to what I love, like these are my foundations. I'm sorry I don't have any full coverage for my full coverage girlies out there. I don't have any recommends that I can earnestly give you because I'm just not a full coverage girl. Maybe a medium, you can build it up, but I think even natural finishes give me what I'm looking for, what I'm searching for. It fulfills the need in me when it comes to foundations. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, even if you didn't. Still give it a big thumbs up. We want all the love and support on this channel, as well as we want you to subscribe so you don't miss a thing that we do over here and have that notification bell on so you're assured you don't miss a thing. Follow me on Instagram at Lavon89 to keep up with my shenanigans in real time. TikTok at Lavon, which is a few more shenanigans, a bit more real time. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.